Good evening. Awesome. How's it going? Happy birthday. I hope you had a great day. There's a couple of days a year where we need to just let ourselves have it, right? And so I hope you had that today. Actually, we have a couple of those coming up, right? We have Christmas, New Year's. New Year's is like the adult let go day. Christmas is the family let go day. Yeah. This is a fun time of year. I love it. It's pretty cool. Scorpios in the house. I have a lot of Scorpios in my life. And, all of them I have a really good relationship with. They're pretty cool people. Scorpios are funny because they're very passionate people, but it's hidden behind layers. And if they don't know those layers are there, then they don't do the work to peel them away to get to themselves, which is cool because what you wind up with is kind of a neat, complex person that every once in a while shows those sides. They kind of peek out through the weak spots. And that leads to a pretty interesting, nuanced experience if you can be open to it. And if you know that that's who you are, and you're kind of bored with things, it's fun to kind of poke around that, right, and see what comes out. You might be surprised. I certainly went through that experience with my ex-wife, who had a Scorpio on 5 planets. No joke. Love you, Jen. But that said, though, she gave me 3 beautiful girls, right? And I can't complain. Hi. How's it going, kid? So, we're going to be doing a birthday reading today. That's fun. I love birthday readings. Those are always great. I think that there's a couple of topics that I've been bouncing around here that kind of all came to this interesting culmination with respect to where I am as an individual, where I'm kind of expecting this to go as far as my expectation, dangerous word, in this experience here. And I'm trying to stay open to some interesting things. And as that comes about, it's amazing what's popped up. Like, for instance, today I had this great experience where I saw somebody I haven't seen in a very long time, and it was a very important part of my life. And she gave me something back that I had given her years ago, and in return, she gave me a couple of pieces of art that I am very, very gracious to have. And I'm gonna get her permission before showing it, but if I do get her permission, I'm gonna show it. And she's a talented artist, and I'm glad to see that she continued exploring that, and she's become somewhat of a tarot reader. I was glad to see that she's in a very good place and is looking like she's becoming a strong, powerful person. So that's good. Very positive stuff going on, right? There's a lot of very good energy kind of buzzing around. It's weird when you get times like this where there seems to be like all these like crashes, and in the middle of all that is this possibility. And, we're the ones that get to shape that. Like, we can't ever forget that. And so, if we remember to do that, it's pretty amazing what can happen in our lives. And so, on that note, I figured it would be a prudent topic to discuss basically how we can accelerate that. How can we utilize that? What are the tools that, even in just every day, without having to read books or join societies or do this fancy stuff, how can we apply these techniques to our life that we can have these experiences, and what is the actual reward of that, right? And so I think that's going to be an important thing to talk about, as far as what do you do after you wake up, because I think if we discuss what happens after, it's going to maybe motivate some people out there that catch this, whether it's live or later, to want that. I promise you, you're going to want it. And that said, some of the things that come along with that is what I'm going to be speaking about tonight, and some of the things that are necessary to make that happen. And so one of the things I discussed in my topics for the evening in the video is unicorns are real. And of course they're not. I mean, we talked about that yesterday, that even if they were, they aren't anymore, right? But they are. and we're gonna talk about that. That's very real, and this isn't some kind of weird, mutated goat, right? And you'll see what I mean when I get there. Falling in love. That's a very important thing that we need to kind of look at from a few different angles of what that means. And because that word is so complex, love. And an even more complex word is falling. And so, I think that it would be a good topic that ties very much into what I speak about here all the time, and very much involved in the waking up process and coming to the one truth. Because love is the actual mechanism that makes that happen, and the target of that love is the important part of that, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And that's, it's going to be a powerful subject. And then, we're going to play with our toys, and we're going to learn, and we're going to do, and we're going to have all this fun. So, a very special person had a birthday, and so we're going to start the evening by playing with our toys. And we're going to do some stuff. We're going to throw some cards, and, maybe play with the oracle a little bit. Take a look at some different sort of nuanced things. I don't know, maybe if we're in the mood, we'll throw around some Gematria or whatever. We'll just have some fun. We'll see how it goes. Just be open with it and see what we can see, right? And so, that said, it snowed again today. We had a little flurry. All right, so a couple days ago, yesterday, I forget. It might have been yesterday. We got about 3 inches, and it only stuck on the grass, right? The roads, it didn't stick, and so it was this beautiful kind of gridded out white. I love that. And it melted real quick. But today it was weird. There was this like out of the blue, out of nowhere squall that was just totally awesome. Heavy wind and heavy snow. 5 minutes there and gone. And then it flurried later on, and the flurries are almost the opposite of these squalls. It was like this stillness. It's as if they were falling in slow motion. There was no wind, and it was just these floating little specks of a reminder of what's coming. And it would hit the ground and immediately melt, so it was just there to see. And if you missed it, you missed it. You couldn't walk out and see the evidence of it occurring. You just had to take everyone's word for it. And I had a beautiful experience like that once. It was really quite something. It was the first day of spring, and I was new to Georgia. I was living in Georgia, and I was doing consulting with a telecommunications company that did paging, believe it or not. So, that really dates it. This was way back. 90s. It was in the, I think, mid to late 90s. Mid-90s. So that said, there I am outside. I'm having a smoke. It's a nice warm day, and out of the blue, like a blizzard. Like a blizzard. But it was warm. The cars were warm. The street was warm. The sun had been going, and it was a pretty mild temperature day. And so they melted as soon as they touched any surface. It was gone. And so there was no evidence that the snow had taken place. And nobody was outside with me. And so somebody walked out, and I'm like, did you just see that? And they said, see what? I'm like, there was just like a blizzard. And I swear to God, a blizzard just hit. And they're looking around. There's not a drop of water. Like, everything had evaporated. It was like it never happened. I wonder if it even happened. But, it was really something. And if you've ever been caught in one of those, it's really cool. It's a fun experience. Brianna, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. So, let's see. I guess I'm going to do Thoth and Surrealist Tarot. Unless you have a preferred deck, Missy. I'd be happy to do whatever deck you recommend. If you want the list of what I have here, this is what I have available. But my feeling is Thoth and Surrealist. So, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I'm thinking to start. We can maybe, I'm probably going to wind up throwing in the Oracle because it's been fun using, and I've been enjoying it, and so I think I want to just throw it in the repertoire for tonight just because it's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let's start with the Thoth. So, is he a Jacob? Is that his full name, Jacob? Or is that your full name? I don't know if I assume he's listening. I hope you are, baby. No, I'm kidding. Stop. I had to do it once. Come on. I love the conch. Every time I see it, it makes me smile. Really? Yeah, it might have actually been the same system. I mean, I'm not that far from you guys. I mean, miles-wise, I guess, but when you look at the grand scheme, Socrates, which, you know, is basically Woodstock, right? To New Hampshire is really not that far at all. And so I can easily see that being the same system. It just came out of nowhere, too. What time was it? 2:30? 3 o'clock-ish? I think it's somewhere in there. Might have been a bit earlier, but no, I think so. I think I'm sticking with 2:30. Yeah, somewhere around there. It was awesome. It was cool. Really windy, like really windy. It was pretty cool. So first of all, so is he 17th or 18th? I don't think it'll matter, but I'm gonna get his deacon. I mean, yeah, either way, he's 7 cups. Venus and Scorpio. Pluto is exalted, obviously. Now, in this particular circumstance, his court card is the Knight of Wand, and the object of his desire is the Princess of Cup. Okay, he's the Knight of Wand, and the object of his desire is the Princess of Cup, and he is going to attempt to go through her trials in order to win her element. November 17th, 90. Okay. All right. Yeah. Actually, let's jump to the tarot screen, and let's get the deacon up. You know what? Let me scoot it over. So essentially what the deacon is the idea of the advisor. Okay, so essentially in the story there is the courtship, and so you have the knight who is the king, and the object of the desire, in this case, which is the Princess of Cup. And so if you look at these two cards, and I'll get him out while I'm speaking here, what we're looking at is the idea of the Princess of Cup being the bringing into manifestation the heart. Bringing into manifestation the heart. And that is, there she is. It's called the page in the Rider-Waite system. The princess in Thoth. I'm not sure if the Thoth system is copyrighted. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is copyrighted, whereas these are public domain. And so I can't really put the Thoth up to that degree to utilize. I mean, I've put up a couple, but I have to look into that. But that said, and then it was the night of Wand. Okay, night of Wand. That explains a lot. In the Thoth system, it's the king, so don't be confused with the knight, which is the prince. I know. Golden Dawn. You know, they got to complicate everything. But so, all right. Actually, I think it's more appropriate, to be honest, because the prince thinks he's the king, but, you know, the knight's the one who, like, shows up, kicks ass, and takes the crown. So it's really the knight that's the king anyway. And so I kind of appreciate that symbolism. One thinks he's going to be, and one is emerging into, right? So it kind of makes sense. You kind of don't want to be the king because the king dies, right? So you want to be the knight, and so the Thoth system makes sense. And so you are not the king of wands, you're the knight of wand. The page of cup is the object of your desire, and that doesn't necessarily just mean your wife, right? And so the page of cup is the idea of wanting to bring the heart into manifestation. The image of this fish speaking from the cup is actually a very beautiful thing. It's, you know, a lot of people have interpreted that a number of ways, but that is, from my perspective, very clearly the higher self, the holy guardian angel, the voice of your truth, speaking to you. And so what this is really saying is, the Knight of Wand, which is the fiery part of fire, and then the Page of Cup, which is the earthy part of water, are speaking the fact that your current form, the one that you project yourself through, sort of the screen that you live behind, is the sort of pure will, just kind of doing what needs to be done. It's almost it's not a blindness, but it's rather a capitulation, an understanding of, like, this is just what has to be, and so there's a an acceptance of that as the will being the source of that, right? And what you have, though, with the Page of Cup is the desire to manifest that emotionally, like that, or rather, your higher self wants to manifest that emotionally. And so what you have is the idea of the drive to get it done, but to do it, the desire to do it as an emotional state on the higher self. And so those two are actually kind of opposites, fire and water, right? And so in the middle is something we call possibility. Now, how does that manifest? Well, that's going to depend upon the deacons. And in your particular case, your deacon is Venus in Scorpio, and is interpreted in the tarot as the Seven of Cup, right? So the Seven of Cup is the lesson that the emotions are dangerous to look at purely emotionally. And I'm going to clarify that, don't worry. The way that we're supposed to experience the world is to take in our emotions mentally and to take in our thoughts emotionally. When you entertain your emotions emotionally, it can become a very difficult situation to navigate, because ego can take over, desire can take over, or further, the lack of desire. You could become overwhelmed with the emotional options and not able to cope with that. Or it can be the opposite, where you can become, rather than overwhelmed, I hasten to say the word blank, but rather very sort of indifferent. It took me a minute to get the word. right? So we have to be cautioned. Now, in this particular circumstance, what we're showing here is the fact that, you know, all the cups are lies. The heart lies because it tells the complete absolute truth, which is that it wants to be wanted, it wants to be had, it wants to be heard, it wants to be seen, and it will show you anything to have that. You know, it will justify things in order that it can receive attention. And so all of these cups are the illusions that are presented. Now there's one cup there in the back that's glowing kind of red with that sheet over it, and there's something special behind there. And it's hidden, and what's behind there is being spoken by that fish. Okay? It is the fish. But that said, though, so the idea of your story is the idea, your karmic destiny, the thing that you're here to learn, is to engage your heart in your mental process, and you'll find rightness. And if you're having emotional difficulties, that might be emerging from the fact that you're entertaining your heart with your heart, and that doesn't work. That becomes an echo chamber of positive or negative. It becomes overwhelming, and it takes over, and you identify with that, and that's a problem, right? But now on the reverse side, that's also the parts of you that are in control, the parts of you that are kind of powerful and you have together are that same mechanism, only that you're approaching it from the right perspective, and it's intuitive, but it's what's happening. I have to say, I just noticed looking at the cards, and so pardon me for a moment, but the bottom second from the left looks like a pile of beads, and I just love that. But so, you know, you have to just be cautious whenever an emotion enters your space that is the predominant state that you're in, and meaning that you're not in a mental state, you're not in a physical state, but you're in an emotional state. Whenever that happens, really pay attention to where that's coming from, right? And there are many techniques that you can use to weather that situation. And it is your lesson. It's something that you can't overcome or heal from this. There's nothing to overcome or heal from. But this is your predominant state on purpose. It's kind of like your genes. It's kind of like the core of your DNA. So you're going to unravel through this your whole life. How you navigate that, the perspective you have on that, and your approach to it will affect your behavior, and thus how you unfold due to it. So yeah, so that's kind of like your like birth time, right? Reading, and this is permanent. This does not change. This is kind of like your birthday. That number doesn't change, or like your sun sign. That number doesn't change. You know, when people ask you your sign and you tell them Scorpio, you know, now you have to tell them that you're Venus in Scorpio, or that you can also tell them that you are the Seven of Cups, right? If they're tarot people. But that'd be more a Missy thing, not a Jake thing. But so you can just tell them that you're Venus and Scorpio and sound like totally smart. But okay, so that said though, so let's pull some cards. Now I'm wondering, let's do this. What I thought about doing is a clock reading, but I'm not going to do it in the live stream because it's too long. A clock reading is 36 cards, 12 positions, 3 cards per position, and it's kind of like the upcoming year. But what I'm going to do is the first 3 months, okay? So I'm going to do December, January, February. And if you want me to continue, just like we'll figure out a time, and I'll, we'll do like either a Zoom thing, or we can do like a phone call. Just put me on speaker, and we can do that to complete the reading, okay? But just for the sake of everybody else that's watching, I just want to, because it's very long. It's 12. I mean, it's, you know, I take my time, right? And so I don't like to rush that type of thing, especially that where, you know, typically I'm taking notes or whatever, and I wind up throwing more cards, and we pull out oracles and stuff. So it's, you know, you want to kind of really take your time, do it right. But let's just do 3 months. See how that goes. Moon in Scorpio and Pluto. Wow, okay. Asked about the lizard below the cape. That is the salamander, which is the element of fire. It's kind of like the familiar of the Knight of Wand. Okay. There's various forms of life. The bird, which rules the air, right? The fish that rules the water, so forth. Well, the animal that rules fire is the salamander. He's not the only one, but he's kind of look at it this way. He's the mini dragon. And now here, let me pop it up so we can look at it again, so you can get that idea. See the little guy down there? Yeah. And we also have the salamander on his chair, right? There's several that are eating its own tail, like the Ouroboros, right? And it's an important symbol when it comes to certain esoteric circles. Pardon the pun, right? But yeah. So how was the birthday, Nookie? I hope it was everything you wanted it to be and more. I hope you didn't have to be like, you know. '40's gonna be good too. '40's an interesting year. '40's weird. It's like, wow, I actually hit like 4 quarters, you know, 4 dimes. I don't know, it's weird. I have 50 coming soon. 50's strange. I don't know. I don't know why that seems strange. Half a century. It's like a 0.5. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, one night? That's it? Really? I kid. Stop. Ten of Cups. Okay, it was a great night. Right? 10 of Cups. All the cups are full. This is a great card to get as the start, right? This is the first card of the rest of your life. That's not a bad way to start that. You know what I mean? Really beautiful. It refers to, ultimately, it's kind of like the idea in the divine order is Wand, Cup, Sword, Pentacle. So this is the final card of like emotional stability that you now are able to move into the mental. You're going to be moving into the sword stage. So right now what this is referring to is the end of the age of the heart and the beginning of the age of the mind. Now here's the important thing. What do you fill your mind with? Divine heart. So you've been giving heart to mind, and now it's time for heart to give back to your mind. So essentially, as you move into the sword phase, out of this 10 of Cup into this new sword phase moving forward, that's going to be a period of time where you begin to, hopefully, take some of the energy that you've been going through right now, positive, negative, and otherwise, synthesize that into the thing that you actually are. And that's just by letting go of the fact that the emotions are there and recognizing that we don't have to identify with them. They're an emergence, just like my voice in your ears right now. They emerge. We don't have to identify with them. Feel them. Allow it. In fact, go into it. Feel every drop of it. Don't miss an ounce of it. And then let go of it. And make room for the next thing. But now what this is basically that's you're all filled up, so there's no room for anything else. And so now this is a position where you can move into this mental stage, right? And the sword is a very interesting stage because it's not only thinking but speaking. You know, it's not only the idea of having thoughts, but it's the idea of those thoughts being attempted to be made manifest through enrolling others. Because why speak but to be heard? But being heard implies another. And so what the sword implies is the heart is an emotional, internal, even when you enroll the other, you're the one feeling it. It's an alone thing. But the sword is intended to be utilized, right? You don't use a sword on yourself. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but it's not what it's for. You're supposed to use it on someone else, right? The sword is there to speak, implying that there's another, that you're enrolling in some idea. And now let's look into what that is. This is the Ace of Wand. So just similar that we were speaking about, where we came up with the wand energy in the your court card, your birth card. The Ace of Wand is the root of the power of the will. The will. it's desire, but it doesn't have a target. It's the spark of life that just wants. Now what gives that definition is the heart, and what the heart feels is what the mind tells it to, and what the mind tells it is what it looks at and identifies with. So how it starts is that what you see is what you speak, is what you feel, is what you are, and what you are is the Ace of Wands, and so that's not a bad thing. Now this period of time is coming up like immediately. Let's just say December, right? So it's a couple of weeks from now, which would be 2 weeks from my birthday, which is December 16th. So this is like, expect this in the near future. Now I want to point something out too. This is not an accident. These two cards look very similar, don't they? This is the symbol of the tree of life. All right? It's that diagram. This diagram is very important because what it really is sort of like the diagram of your existence, okay? This is a diagram of the path of the human experience. This is another example of it. I show it here all the time in color. And now each one of these is a different stage or phase of our lives. From a polarity perspective, from a stage perspective, there's many ways to look and read at this. This is also the tarot. You know, these are the small cards. Each path is one of the majors. And we're all walking this at different stages in our lives. If you notice, there's a person superimposed in there, right? There's their head, their shoulders, right? Their body, and their feet are down at the bottom, okay? There's that beautiful beard right there, see? Under dot, knowledge. That's not an accident that dot falls underneath the chin of knowledge. If you notice, wisdom is carried in a beard. That's not an accident. You might have thought I was about to be playful, but no, I was just pointing out a Kabbalistic sort of cute correspondence. But that said, though, that's the idea with the symbol that is sort of superimposed in the artwork of these two cards. Okay, so that story is being told here with respect to you're leaving the cup but moving into wand energy, as opposed to the sword, or the sword energy is going to be implemented as wand. So you're going to be speaking. You're going to be speaking will. You're going to be speaking what you want. What you want is going to be heard. So your sword will be manifested as a wand. Now, the third component of the month of December, and this is not linear. This isn't beginning, middle, and end of December. This is the month as one sentence. This is the sentence being spoken, and here's the end of the sentence. Adjustment or justice. Adjustment is the card of Libra. Libra means two things. Here's the rules and here's how to break them. And so it's a matter of, you can tip the scale really far as long as you know you can grab it before things break and kind of put it back up, and then, okay, no one noticed. Right? So we can play. There's a balance at the beginning of the month, there's a balance at the end, and if you do some shenanigans in the middle, but you make sure those numbers are the same, nobody saw a thing. That's adjustment. Okay, and so now now notice what we're looking at here is we have an individual with scales, and in between that is a sword pointed down. That's divine mind into the heart, right? That was the stage that filled up your cups. Okay, your cups got filled by that sword. I mean, literally, this is the image of the sword that does that. Pointed down sword of playing with those scales, filling the heart. Now what is going to happen is the same thing kind of back up, that you are entering the sword phase, calling sword back up into divine heart. So it's like that opposite, right? So how this all comes together during this month is joy, a lot of physicality, probably going to be like a very physical month. Like it looks like there's going to be a lot of work also. Like there's going to be things that need to be done that you are going to be okay doing. You're going to be ready for. There's Mars energy available that you can access when needed. There is air available. Air is, for instance, like if you have to do quick math, it's going to come to you easy. If you have to, decide something that's kind of a big deal related to finances or something else, the answer won't be too hard for you. Whereas you may have had difficulty in the recent past, that's going to change, right? Or if you felt like some kind of deficiency in the past several weeks or months, that's actually going to begin to turn as you move into this next period. There's going to be sort of a level of feeling kind of a mastery. You're going to feel pretty powerful during this next month. Don't let it get to your head, but do certainly recognize the opportunity here for you to get stuff done, right? On many levels, not just in your physical life, but on many levels. So I'm just going to pause, catch up on the chat, and then ask if you need any clarification. Stop. I'm going to shower while he naps for a bit, and you're done with him. Then he gets his round too. It's so cute. He's listening. His father made him feel like he isn't special. Really? And it got hindered. I try to bring it out of him constantly. Yeah, well, we can talk about that. We can talk about that. Really? You know what? That's funny. With all three of my daughters, Justin was toward the top of the list. And I know somebody with a Justin. Yeah, and I just wound up having 3 daughters, so I didn't have a Justin. Well, yeah, and being a hard worker is not just physical. It takes the mental fortitude to get the work done. The body just provides for that, but it's the mental that's getting it done. All right, his body's not doing the work. All right. The car doesn't move without the foot pushing it, and the foot is the mind. All right, okay. So, yeah. Lily Rose. Oh my God, how appropriate. It's beautiful. But so did you want any clarification on what we spoke about here? It's a good opportunity during the month of December to get stuff done and to kind of, and if if you'd like, we can talk, privately about stuff, and kind of maybe get rid of some old things, like just. Absolutely, oh, exactly. And it's if courage is the act of doing in spite of fear, right? Well, it's the same thing when you're acting in spite of lack of motivation. There's we need that will to activate us when we lack motivation, or when we are just not feeling it, but we know we have to get things done, and so we just have to be able to transform that empty into power, right? Persistence is the definition from the outside perspective of watching somebody do that, right? If you watch somebody in that pocket, you're going to look at them and go, wow, that's a persistent person, right? That's what drives that persistence is that function. Just finding the will to act in spite of lack of motivation. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to put aside December, and I'll get back to it if you need anything additional on that. I'll just leave these kind of spread out so you can see it's the 10 of Cup, the Ace of Wand, and then Adjustment. And actually, let's do this. I'll give you a screenshot real quick. Hang on. So what I'm going to read now is going to be January, or December through January, which will include like the New Year's period, period of Christmas, and through like the first week of January. Okay. This is the Crowley version of the Strength card. It's called Lust, and it refers to Babylon. This is the seven-headed figure. This is basically Lilith in her state of attempting to communicate, but there's also a very deeper meaning. She is in her bliss, right? It's kind of like a... Oh, no problem. Okay, sure thing. You can ask the question. So here, put the question in the chat, and then I'm going to... and let me just put these two cards out then, and then I'll use this deck to answer his specific question, and I'll leave this reading for the month. So go ahead. But essentially, the Lust card is the idea of this will being realized. The idea of the conversation happening. Essentially, this is a person who's in conversation. This is a person who is in recognition of the truth and has the tiger by the tail, so to speak. Oh no, you tell me. What would you rather do? Oh, I mean, I'm happy to answer a specific question. That's fine. Or we do both. I mean, oh, yeah, we can save that for another time. Right? That's... yeah, let's do that. Let's save that for another time. There's so many things, like even just in the... okay, so I am an expert. I mean, I try, like, literally in language, and so there are so many implications in the words chosen in that statement that I can't even begin. I don't even need cards, and I already have. We need, yeah. So, but there's awesome learning that can happen here. There's very important growth that can take place by me just parsing that statement before we even get into anything else. But that's a private conversation. Him and I, if we should speak, like privately. Don't be afraid, Missy, and he'll share with you whatever he wants to after the conversation. But I'm putting myself out there. I'm available to have a private conversation with him, and we can go from there. But as far as the next month, this is into January. So just to clarify, Lust is this place of someone who is in conversation. And there's obviously some very heavy esoteric symbolism here, right? With this creature and some other things, but with respect to the general sense of the this particular reading and like what we're doing for like a birthday month type reading, it's not relevant. But what is relevant is the idea that what the Strength card represents is the product after courage, right? Like we talked about before. And when you get into a situation and you are afraid or unprepared or whatever the case, and it requires you to maybe draw energy from somewhere, the rest of you conspires to give that strength to your heart in the form of courage, right? And then you enter the battle, you do well, and the outcome of that, the side effect of that, is that you're no longer afraid. And since you're no longer afraid, the space that courage used to occupy is empty now, because of course courage is nothing more than a necessity of the fear. So when the fear is gone, the courage isn't needed, it disappears. The space it created is there to be filled by strength. And so what this card is the state of that person who's been through that experience and has filled that space with themselves. And we're going to talk about that tonight as well, separate from this reading, about that process and being filled up by the appropriate thing can really literally change your life forever. It's why we're here. So that said, the Six of Discs. success. Now, financial, maybe. Physical, maybe. Something being completed in a good way that is you can take ownership of, and go, I did that, right? And now that thing is significant though. It's the idea of a you planted it, you watered it, you loved it, you sculpted it, you polished it, you gave it love, you gave it elbow grease, and here it is. And so that's something that you can be proud of, and that's going to be coming around the next couple of months. Whether it's something you've already started and is going to be finished, or something that hasn't come up yet as a project, but that's going to be taking place. This is also the idea that this is actually, I want to reiterate even further, or in addition to, rather, this is something you've been working on for a while. I do get that sense. Something that you've been working on for a while is going to come to fruition and be completed in that period of the end of December, beginning of January. That is relevant to or related to this strength card. All right. Well, okay. Let's just talk about that last statement. He's so amazing because I've never seen the work ethic like him, but he's definitely encountered trauma for the first time. All right, yeah. Well, I've been through way more than that's true. Okay. You know, yeah, there's some things here that, like, I don't want to read too far into. Now, then the Star, though, is a really great card. The Star, you can read this card many, many different ways, and you need to because it's so beautiful and dynamic. But the Star is from my interpretation, like, there's three versions of this card, right? This is one of them. This is the Star. This is another one. I mean, let's just look at those, right? I mean, that's not an accident, okay? And there's one more. Let me just pull it out. I'll shuffle it back in later, don't worry. Tell me it was going to be next, watch. Wouldn't that be something? It was the next card. That's funny. Seriously? Alright, so this energy's all over the place, because this is the one I was fishing for, and it was going to be his next card. These three cards are identical. And so I just wanted to bring them up because they're relevant, but now it's super relevant because it was about to come out. The World. Lust and the Star are all the same card. They're just different perspectives of the same exact event. And now why this is significant, okay? This is very significant here, because why this is significant is the fact that what this is referring to here is, here's a person who has given into the fact that they're beneath and they can't change, but they've given into it, so there's bliss there. This person is somebody who has achieved conversation. Basically, they have met themselves. They've met themselves. They don't know themselves, but they've met themselves. This person has not met themselves. But they believe they have. But conversation has happened. And then knows oneself. Knows the truth. This is the inner sanctum. This is inside the Orphic egg. If you've ever wanted to know what's inside the egg, if you were to poke a hole on the shell and peek in, this is what you'd see. And all three of these things are one event from three different perspectives occurring right now at the same time. Like, it's just one thing from three different. You can kind of just line it up like this and kind of think about the fact that what you're actually looking at is what's in the middle of these three cards, and each one of these is a window with a different filter, right? So that's what we're actually looking at here. Okay, is this little you see what I'm getting at there? Where's my camera? This one. So that's what we're looking at here. And it actually fell quite beautifully, right? And now this success card, this is a long time coming project, right? We have the moon in Taurus. You know? Yeah, there's a lot of nuance in the majors when you approach them from the esoteric tarot, right? As opposed to the more traditional meanings. And specifically, that card is really heavy. Yeah, maybe. You might be right. And that's totally doable. We are here to find ourselves, so it's actually not as hard as we think. The thing we need to do is to actually stop searching and realize we already found it. And sometimes it's hard to elicit that experience in people, and sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it comes naturally, and people are just sort of like born with it and don't even know that they have it, which totally makes me jealous. And then, but some of us can work at it and achieve it. It's available to all of us, in our own way. But that said, and I think that could be something that we could do together. Like, that's some work that could be done there, like directed toward that goal. Some very amazing things will come from that, if everyone's open to it. Yeah, just not for a live stream. Right? I don't know. I'm doing this long enough to know what not to say, publicly. But so, let me just get those two more cards out. And then we're going to look at, this is going to be February, right? Yeah, tarot is tarot is like really intimate. When I read, I'm like, and so it's so hard for me to know how far to go with somebody when I'm in a public forum, because when I do privates for whether it's individual or couples, I'm wide open, but not public. It just feels weird. It's too intimate. It's nobody's business. You know what I mean? And obviously you share as much as you want to share, and that's up to you to do that. But yes, I feel weird. There's a few things that came up that I kind of was like, Well, it's more than that, though. It's not just focusing on business. It's an opportunity for, especially in the January period. The January period is finding oneself type shit, right? December is this weird will time of speaking what you want and that balance, whatever. But the success is these cards, the way this fell, and then the universe right after that. This is all the dance. This isn't about, being busy. Although you might be, And certainly there can be financial gain from that. But yeah. Okay. Indolence and debauch. Giving in to one's desires and somehow falling into the trap of being satisfied by something that's really bad for you. Or is just not good. The 8 of Cup and then the 7 of Cup are not good cards with respect to... so February is going to be a tough month emotionally, and there's going to be a lot of kind of like bad ego stuff going on. Just yuck. Just yuck. Saturn energy. Saturn in Pisces and more Venus in Scorpio. This is the 7 of Cup that is his deacon. His deacon came up in February, right? Notice Crowley's difference, right? Let me pop the card up so you can see the difference here between Crowley's and... You get the meaning of this card now? Like, careful, because when you give in to those fantasies, it's just like drinking sludge. It's debauch. It's like, getting drunk on your own bullshit, right? This is the result of that, too, is that, you wind up actually, that becomes okay and normal, and then your cups start breaking. You start being okay with broken cups. You start to identify with it, and that's bad news. The 8, if you remember, the 8 of Cups in the Rider-Waite system is this person kind of walking away into the distance. Very often it's looked at as somebody who's avoiding responsibility, but really what it's doing is you're walking away from your emotions. So it's interesting because by giving into them, you're walking away from them. It's like you don't respect them at all, so there's no discernment. It's just like, it's like the whore of Babylon that just is a cup that is open to everything. Now that's kind of the way we're supposed to be. But the screen is natural when we're in a state of our true self, our higher self being in communication, which is not the state that he's in right now, but the state that can easily be achieved if he desired. It just takes putting the work in. And it's not as much work as you think. It's a thunderclap, and there's no going back. It's a moment, and you're there, and you look back and go, well, wow, what was I doing? What was I doing? This is February, yeah. With these two cards, this card is not what it seems. This card seems like the universe, the completion. This is the end. It's the beginning. What this is a fantasy. And so resist the urge in February if things look like it's together with respect to the emotional state here. It seems like there's a giving in to the fact that things are not as okay as you think. And the danger of giving in to the fact that you think things are better than they are. Content is dangerous because it's not good enough to be happy, but bad enough to do anything about. And you can stay there for a long time. And then you wind up in this state. So, and this is a bad place to be. It's actually kind of hard to get away from that. It takes trauma. It's the only way to heal from this is to hurt more. And then you just die, and then you're reborn. Although you could always willingly give in to the tower. Just like close your eyes and run in. And then you avoid all that, right? That's one of the techniques. But so, let me pause and ask if you want any clarification. Let me get another screenshot. What is this one? Okay. I gotta make room. Excuse me. Okay. He says, yeah, it does take trauma, and my problem has been... Yeah. Wow. You know, a lot of what I'm hearing is a recognition that there might have been a better way, and that there's a chance, not a chance, that there's an obvious recognition that there is another way, right? And now some of this is individual and some of it is shared. But I mean, you know, it's all opportunity, right? For growth and for understanding and for like real communication to take place. I mean, why not? You know, what an opportunity. I mean, you know, there's several stages of our lives that we come into, and some of us at different times than others. And so, you know, if we have the chance to recognize it when it's happening and actually jump on it when it's in the air for that to happen, you know, like, why not? Oh, really? Why, thank you. Mm-hmm. These are my Patrick Batemans. But yeah, so, you know. There's a lot of, here's what what's coming up all over the place, though, if you notice, is like is cup. Wand, right? So this is like higher level shit, because the lower level shit is sword, pentacle. Wand, cup is what's real. Sword, pentacle is the lie. Sword, pentacle can change anytime we want. It's a thing that changes on a whim. Wand is infallible and will never change. Cup can change shape based on the wand, but it takes time. It adjusts over time to take the shape of the wand. Yeah, there's stuff going on. There's stuff, yeah. But so, I don't know. I mean, if you're open to it, again, we can, I'm going to have a couple of crazy days, and I have a sort of a serious thing going on Monday, and I have a serious thing going on Tuesday. The Monday one, though, I think if I should check my calendar, but I think I might be pretty open later in the day. And Tuesday, though, is kind of a little bit crazy, but Wednesday, if you guys are available, can either, you know, we can either have like an initial sort of couple session, just talk, nothing, and then you know, do like a little private thing individually. I mean, I just want to put that out there. Why, your emojis were broken? Yeah, so, So what are you thinking, Missy? I'm just going to, kind of leave it there. And, just touch base. I have a kind of a crazy next couple of days, but, I'm available anyway. Just, text me. We'll be able to chat. At the minimum, we'll be able to chat. listen, no, it didn't get serious. This is what it was, you know. Like, I think, you know, I knew it was gonna. I mean, I knew it was gonna get serious. How's it not? You know, if we're just gonna be honest about life, and looking at reality, you know, it's both sides. So yeah. Okay, so that was cool though. I don't know. I like starting with tarot. That was neat. Okay, so all right. Well, let's hit pause. All right. There's your hug. That was your hug across time and space in the meantime. But and let's pick up on that separate, you know, off air. I will be back in a couple minutes. Just going to brew a cup of coffee, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff. Stop. You know what kind of stuff comes in here? Just readings are readings, reality is reality, and what we're actually talking about here is actually something very cool, which is two souls kind of wanting and seeking and wanting to hear and speak truth. That's what happened. It's not, there's no serious, negative, positive, good, bad. Don't give it a definition. It's just a sensation in the state of the, you know, in the shape of a heart. That's all it is. This is what tarot is, right? If you're going to speak truth, sometimes it looks, you know, I see opportunity for growth for both of you individually, regardless. That's what I see. I'll be back in the speed of Carrick, and plus a couple minutes. Alrighty. I haven't seen Brianna's chatting in a while, and I'm not sure if she's still here. It's actually been quite some time since she said hello, really, which was at 1:23, so it's been about an hour. Are you still not able to see Kitten? Because it's the three of you, I think, are Kitten. I know you can't see me, but if you have an Instagram, Facebook, phone number, you can tell Michael to tell me. Okay, so Missy's asking for your phone number, Kitten. So if that's okay, I will share it with her. Otherwise, let's see. All I know is he has 10 of Cups and Pentacles at his feet, and he's confused, and that stops things. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, stop! No. Yes. Yes, you do. You need to apologize to Missy for, stopping her from feeling and being a human being. Now stop it. You're allowed to feel what you're feeling. I can see Missy. I do have a Facebook. Okay. All right, cool. So, private message me your Facebook, and I will send it to her. So, Missy, you're a human being, and so is he. Like, everyone calm down, right? There's feelings going on, and that's all normal and good. And so just recognize that there's weird feelings, and people are people, and we're all broken, flawed animals that have no idea what we want and what's good for us, right? Okay, I'll give her your number too. So, right? So just everyone take a breath and recognize that we'll just come from a place of love, regardless. You know, I remember hearing, we've all heard it, like, you know, no matter what, kiss each other goodnight, no matter what. For real. Okay, that's Kitten. All right. All right, so, okay. Yeah, well, all right. Well, then, you know, I can also, I mean, I'm not trying to be manipulative, but I can certainly change my language when communicating with him to the degree where maybe it's perhaps a bit less heavy. I just try to speak the truth, you know, and like sometimes it's heavy. Hopefully, though, that heavy turns into him processing it, and like, you know, some things will awaken, and it's a process. Everyone's at a different level of accepting certain truths, right? And so some people are just like, I'll take it all and let it all in and process it and whatever. And some people take it all in and are like, fuck this, it's too much, right? And so you have to be okay with who everyone is. Not everyone is like Superman. We have our weak moments. I am as weak and flawed and broken as anyone I've known in my life, and so I can't judge anyone, you know. And you know, we have to resist that. We have to, because that's where love lives. When we look at the other and see ourselves. Yeah. We have to forgive, man. I love you, Missy. You know, and I want you to, like, I want you to love you. I know you do. I know you do. What am I saying? Come on. So, cool. All right. So, yeah, that said, there's a few things I wanted to kind of talk about tonight, and actually how appropriate that this all happened, because one of the things, I'm just going to jump past the unicorns, and I'm going to get back to it. It's not, what? Quit apologizing. You have nothing to apologize for. You have nothing to apologize for. What are you apologizing for? So, but I understand. I will let you have the feelings that you're having right now. If you're feeling this kind of, this weight of responsibility, then just let's own it. Everybody, Missy is a horrible person who wasted our time with her bullshit for an hour. Thanks. So can we let it go now? Okay, it's gone. Good. So that said, let's have some fun. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to go past the unicorns are real, and I'm going to get back to it. We're going to talk about falling in love. We're going to talk about falling in love and what that means. I spoke about love being a complicated, nuanced word, right? And so is falling. And we also have to talk about like the object of our desire. What is it that we are talking about here? So, anything, anytime, anytime. What is this four-letter word? That's everything. It's everything. It's sorrow. It's want. It's pain. How can love be sorrow, want, and pain? Because you look at the other and they're suffering, and that makes you sad. That's what love is. When you're sad when the people that you love are sad. You're in pain when they're in pain. Love is the sameness, the recognition of yourself in the other. And when you see their pain and you feel it, you know that it's real. When you share in their joy, when you suffer in their suffering, you know, there's a lot of people that I've seen in a really bad place and was not able to help for whatever reason, bad chemistry, or they just weren't able to be receptive, or I just wasn't able to deliver it properly, or I just, you know, I wasn't qualified. There's a million reasons that you can't help somebody. And that pain that I felt is love. So, you know, pain it makes it real. It makes you realize that it's real. So we know that exists, right? You felt that for people. And so I want you to recognize that in yourself. I want you to be able to have that. And when you look at yourself and you feel these feelings, recognize that those feelings, that pain, is yourself wanting you to love yourself. And so, you know, let's talk about falling in love for a minute. Because, you know, we've all been there, and so it's a really good place to go because we know these feelings well. I'm getting emotional, I'm sorry. You know, you come across somebody or whatever the case, and you start to feel things, you know, and there's always this weird risky moment. We all know this feeling where like the feelings are feeling good and you kind of think about them a lot, and right, and you wonder if they're thinking about you, and then you find out that they are, and that feels good. And you know, you start future thinking, which is fun, and fantasizing, and And then it happens. There's this moment where you have to make a decision. Do I give in? Do I let this happen? Or I don't know. That's dangerous, right? It's scary. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I really want this and it seems right, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it. That's why we call it falling. Because you gotta let go. You just gotta just drop off the cliff, right? And just know they're gonna be there to catch you. And it's risky, and it's dangerous, and it feels good. Because we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to give into each other, right? We're supposed to fall into each other. Why can't we do that for ourselves? If you remember that feeling with somebody else, fall in love with yourself. Give yourself that same sensation of want. Desire yourself. Be desired. Court. Flirt. You know who you are. Be it. What happens when you want to impress somebody? You act different, you talk different, you dress different, you look different, you feel different. Impress yourself. You know how you are. You're fucking awesome. You're insanely impressive, crazy smart. Look at this. Look, I mean, everything you touch is beauty. Let's stop. The Lord commanded me to love my enemies, and I obeyed. And I loved myself. And who is that enemy? The lower self that's hung up on our shit. The personality, the character we play that we fooled ourselves into thinking is who we are. I was my own worst enemy for probably 35 years. Even when I was in control, I was this crazy powerful manifestation nut that could just like touch things and turn them into gold. And I was just a broken person. It was something else. And I was just turning other people into gold. I was just like Midas. But you know, it didn't work. Didn't work. No matter how hard I tried. Until I let go. Until I fell. I looked at myself and I went, you know what? Who is this person? This isn't who I am. What am I doing? It's been a ride since. It's a crazy ride. And it has only begun. And when you find that place where you can, you believe it. You look in the mirror and you go, wow, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's okay, man. Forget what people convinced me of. Fuck them. They don't know me. They didn't walk my shoes. They don't know what I've been through to get where I'm at and why I was there. Had they been through it, they'd understand. They would, and you know they would. That's what I've told myself because I know it's true. I've seen people go through a tenth of the shit and they're just completely lost. Turns out we are Superman. Look what you've been through. And you know what? Look what you're about to go through. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. I'm sorry. Let's see here. I should pop out tonight. Maybe I'll be back later when my energy is cleared. So sorry, my loves. I understand. No. Don't leave. Like, you should not feel shame as much as he does. Well, that's something we're going to speak about. That's what him and I need to talk about. That's why I wanted to speak to him privately. It's, totally. And I know you know that feeling. That's, that's the we are the Hanged Man. We are the Ten of Wands. That's our calling, and but it's not sustainable. It will kill us if we don't find balance. And it kills us slow. It's not quick. You want to hear the creepiest sound ever? I don't know why. Because yes, listen, don't fall into the trap of taking any of this too seriously. We're here to love, that's it. It's a pyramid with a flat top, ready for an eye. It's out of tune. That's what it is. It's a harp. It's a harp. Literally Midas touch, others the gram. Yeah, here's the secret, love. Here it is. You can give it away and keep it at the same time. It's an endless well. You know how that works. You give, you're empty, and then someone else asks, and suddenly you're just filled back up to give more, right? And so that's how that works. But you're also allowed to put your own name on the list of recipients. You have an intake as well as an exhaust. Use it. And you can also take from other people that are willing to give it. I have plenty. Anytime you need it, just let me know. I know what you and I need to do. I'll figure it out with Jake when we speak alone. But you and I know exactly what you need. Because, we're soul sisters. Legit. Missy, I know you, and you are fucking suffering, and you don't have to. You do not have to suffer. Stop apologizing. You do not have to suffer. Really, we need to talk. I can't wait. Shoo. Whoa, right? There's the lesson. Thank you, my brother. That's what happens when we overuse our power. It has no value, and especially to the people that just keep taking, right? They just it loses all. They treat it like nothing. It becomes an entitlement. It becomes valueless. You're not fooling me. I agree. So did I. I did too. It's not suffering, but it is. Where's mine? It's like, every once in a while, you have the little selfish moment, and there's no shame in that selfish moment. We give a lot, and so it's okay to receive a little bit too, It's okay to receive a little bit. Man, Shoo, thank you for you, man. For just taking my words and just here it is. Here's what Michael just said for the people who don't speak Michael. Here's right. He's my Edward Kelly, man. He really is. He just turns my words into beautiful, my brother. Thank you for being open to that, and You know, the secret is to be, and this is a biggie. This is so hard, Missy, okay? Boundaries. You know how many times I've heard that word and I'm like, can't, sorry, I don't care, I just give, I'm sorry, I can't. What are you telling me? You're telling me I'm supposed to say no to somebody who's hungry? I'm supposed to say no to somebody who's in pain and I feel like I can take it away? Yeah, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to help anyone ever again. There has to be times when there's sort of like okay, wait a minute, I need some space. Tell you what, I'm going to pick up 3 of those wands. Why don't you grab 3, and together we can do it in 2 trips and be done. And guess what? You're not busted up and you're not tired and... right? You still have space and there's love and there's a lack of resentment and you're there, you know? Kibbs is walking on the keyboard. We're doing Gematria. Where's it at? Fa show. Oh, wait. No, that wasn't your cat. If that was your cat, dude, we're about to be rich. Oh, did he do mui? Mui. Mui. I'm sorry. Apparently the cat speaks French. It's funny, she said the cat walked on the keyboard and I thought the cat typed for show. I was like, holy shit, it's like that frog from Warner Brothers. Hello, my baby. No. Could you imagine now? Kibbs the hip hop cat. For show, yo. Here's what you need to know, Missy. And there it was. Ooh, aren't you intrigued? I am. Ooh, it's 2 cards. It's 2 cards. I love it when it's 2 cards. Two of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles. What an interesting image right here. All right, let's get this up on the screen again. I'm curious what you see in this. Because I'll tell you what I see in a moment. But this one's really interesting. I mean, what an image. You have 2 people in a boat with a chain. The chain's about to break, but the boat is in an empty pool. And it's like rusted because it hasn't moved. One of these people is masked, one of these people is cloaked. And then there's this other side, which is another boat that's actually on water, that's in this kind of really interesting state, like all these pretty flowers. There's sort of like a room in here, and they're coming toward these 2 people, bringing this dove of wisdom, this dove of the divine, right? He is so gangsta, and he's so gangsta. His soundtrack is Fresh Prince. Only New Hampshire, not Philadelphia. This is Shoo. Dropping gems. If you look on the top of the card, it's the sun and the moon, right? This is you and Jake, period. End of story, right? I mean, can we... I just can't. This is like the way this came out. You know, come on. Take a screenshot of this. Hang on. Let me get a nice shot for this for you. Cool. Wow. Oh, I love that. Heavy tarot night, man. Heavy tarot night. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's only a half an hour away from you? I don't know. I can imagine. Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that too, because I've actually mentioned that many times in my life where, you know, you can really make this the most beautiful thing, but if there's nobody there to see it, it's like such a shame. And it's funny how, I don't know. Sometimes it's just hard to engage with people. They're just not in a place of engagement. And it's like, you know, it can be very, very isolating. That's cool. That's what it's for. That's what the channel's for. That's what it's for. You know, the subject I wanted to speak about tonight, I did, right? At least initially, the idea of falling in love and what that means and giving into ourselves and falling into ourselves. You know, after waking up, we're going to get to here in a minute. It's like two and change hours worth of show tonight. Don't even worry about that. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna write you a piece of software. Okay, I happen to be pretty savvy with code. I'm gonna write a piece of software that you can install on your computer, and what it's gonna do is or your phone. What it's gonna do is it's gonna prevent you from typing the words "I'm sorry." I want to play with the Oracle. I've been having a lot of fun with this little deck of cards right here. Robert M. Place is just a magician of the highest order, man. How lucky are we that he has this compulsion to share it, and then the ability to do that. Like, he has the chops. Like, we're lucky that person exists. Like, seriously. Yeah, I think he's 3 behind. He's in Cali. Yeah, and Shushu is a SoCal Sage. Shushu the SoCal Sage? No. Nope. Yeah, growth without drama is everything. Growth without drama is everything. This is the female Joker. There's 2 of them in the deck, and this is the female. Be the fool. Be it. So let go, let go, let it go. Nope. Hey, whoa. Let it go. But yeah. Let's pull 2 more. Right? You know, there's a technique that I use a lot, and I mentioned it to somebody recently, and it actually just happened to me. I was receiving something that I had to sign for, and the UPS guy was like having a really bad day. And I was actually in the middle of a private session when the dogs went ape shit, and I had to check the door, and here's this person. And anyway, he was having a bad day. His app wasn't working, and he had a bunch of deliveries left, and it was slowing his whole day down, and you can tell that he was in a bad place, and he was actually kind of holding back rage. It was really something. And now here's the technique for getting past this drama bullshit, because he was really in a state of drama, and he deserved it. It was a rough day. He just wanted to go home. It was cold. Anyway. I didn't speak to him with respect to what was happening. I didn't say this, that, and the other about the... I spoke to the truth. I ignored what he was saying. And I just spoke to the truth. And the whole time that we were talking, I just kept saying things like, oh, well, thankfully you only have a couple of deliveries left, because this seems like a pain in the butt with this app, and it's almost over. Why don't you take a photo of my label, and you can scan it later at the office. All right. Obviously, your app's not going to work. All right. I said, tell you what. In the meantime, why don't you hand me the phone, and I'll try to fix it while you go get your phone to take the picture. And so that's what he did. And so his mind was off of like, oh, life sucks and I can't. And he was now on a task, and it was just like he was in a mental state of get my phone and take this picture. And I'm sitting there flipping through his UPS phone, starting to rebooting the app and trying to whatever. And it wasn't. The app was busted. It was something to do with it wasn't communicating. It had nothing to do with the app. There was something wrong with the server up at UPS. Long story short, though, it wasn't going to happen, and so that's fine. And I said, dude, it ain't going to happen, so let go. Just take the picture. Let's do this, right? And the person who my session was on, I had my headphones on. I had a pair of headphones on, right? And she heard the whole thing. It was kind of funny, but and anyway, we just started like rapping and whatever while he was taking the picture, and I was kind of digging through his phone. And long story short, when everything was said and done, I signed whatever, and we parted ways, and he was kind of in a better place. It was just like, let go. And so now he knew, like, really, every single stop he had was another, oh, this app's not going to work. What if it doesn't work? And the next stop was, I'm just going to take a picture and deal with it at the home office. Like, it didn't, and so it was completely gone. Like, it wasn't even about me trying to address how he's feeling, or because forget about how he's feeling. You can't really control that in the moment to a stranger. Rather, what you have to do is to try to alleviate the thing that's causing the stress to begin with, by like turning his perspective about it. Take away the responsibility. He had this feeling like it was his fault the app wasn't working, and so he's going to look bad to his boss. Bullshit. The shit doesn't fucking work. I'm not taking responsibility for that, is what he needed to feel, and I gave him permission to feel that. And so it was, and that, and who am I? And I'm nobody, but it was like he just needed someone to tell him, bro, it's okay. Your job is not to make this app work. You're a delivery driver. Like, your job, you already did. You showed up at my house on time with a smile on your face when your day sucked. You win. You did your job, sir, right? So get over it. Like, give yourself a break. Really, you gotta be okay with just giving yourself a break. Just slip into this state of like blissful ignorance for a minute, and remember that all this is okay for you to just let go of and not be that person for a minute. We give so much, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm taking a break from that today, and I'm gonna have a selfish day, or I'm gonna do nothing, or I'm gonna just like focus. I'm gonna decide who I give to, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You need to give yourself permission to do that. I didn't give him permission. Who the fuck am I? What I did is I convinced him he had the power to give himself the permission. And that's what he did. That's what he did. And he left here with a smile. And that one was real, not the one that he was faking. Like, oh, I got to put on the UPS smile. All right? So, yeah. It's not easy. Sometimes it's really hard to like wake people up to like who they really are. right? If we all knew who we were, man, this would be a different world. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, we would have bases on half the planets in the solar system right now, right? I mean, like, really, you know how far along we'd be if we weren't tied to capitalism as the vehicle for innovation, and we just work together as a race? We'd be galactic by now. Well, at least interplanetary, because we would have been doing it for 50 years, and so we would have at least reached Proxima Centauri and some other star systems by now, right? So, like, come on. But that's okay, man. That's okay. You throw the truth to as many people as you can, and the ones that want to catch it will. I don't know. I think tonight felt great. I like doing the cards. I like focusing on the cards. And, it felt good. Waking up. You know, it's actually a misnomer. It's not really a good title, because it implies that you like there's a sleep and then awake and then, you know, but that's not how that works. It's a constant unfolding. It's a never-ending thing. It's not a destination. It's not a journey. It's a being. And that being is an unfolding. It's an expanding. The speed of that expanding is varied. It's not constant. There is no rule. There's no direct mechanism. The only way is to just be. You can study, you can try, you can work, and those things help. But it comes when it comes, and you know the reason that is because it can't. You can't even know what it is you're seeking until you found it and go, oh, that's what I was looking for. And so it's kind of hard to point to. It's hard to speak about. It's hard to illustrate. It can't be taught. It can only be known. But once you know it, life begins. What happens after you wake up? Life begins. You're able to see the unicorns. You see, there were these unicorns, right? And they were doing their thing. And then that whole nasty business with the flood happened and Noah and all that, right? And they were too busy being unicorns to get on the boat, and they missed it and they died. And so they didn't, you know. And then we come to the truth. We come to the truth. We seek the answer and we find it. We find the answer. There are no unicorns. There never were. I mean, you know, it's a pretty picture. It really is. I like Pegasi personally. I'm a big fan of Pegasus. There's something so beautiful about that animal. I don't know. It's just hippogriff. Something about winged. So manticore. The answer provides the truth. Eventually. Because unfortunately all you get with answers is questions, which lead to answers and questions and answers. And so it turns out that we were wrong. When you come to the one truth, when you've actually woken up, a whole world is opened up to you with that truth. And that one, the Phoenix, that one truth leads you to this very, very beautiful thing, which is a completely different perspective. You get to realize the truth that unicorns are real. And what I mean by that is this. When you come to the one truth, you recognize yourself in the other, in the world, right? You recognize that you're not just the speaker, but you're also the listener, and you're also the thing being spoken. You're all three things. You're not just the world you view, and you're not just the observer of that world. You know, we're all three at all times. And now, the implication of that is that we can, by recognition of that fact, we can call out to those things in the world that are us and wake them up, stir them. And that's the magical process. It's the recognition of identifying the name of the intelligence that we want to wake up and then speaking it. And in doing so, it is manifest. Not really manifest, because it's already there. It's awoken. We give it permission to be. And that goes for unicorns. That goes for love, self-love, truth, stuff and things. I love stuff almost as much as I love things. I love things more than stuff, but I pretty much love stuff and things. All kinds of manifestation, all kinds of truth, and but you do lose a few things. You lose answers, you lose questions, you lose indecision, you lose suffering. Bad stuff happens, you react. I do it all the time. Everyone who's been on my channel for longer than a couple of streams has seen me lose my shit over something, and that shit gets hardcore lost publicly live. And then I get over it, right? And it just takes me a few minutes, and I'm, just feel it, let it go. It's not who I am, so I'm not going to identify with that. It doesn't change who I am. It's not going to affect the rest of my day. It affected that 5-minute period, because that's all that actually existed. To have it, then it's not who I am. So when we come to the truth, we get to access the tarot with the reality that what we're looking at is our story from beginning to end, which is the span of the existence of time. From the beginning of time till the end. Why does tarot work? We're not telling the future, we're reading the past. It's like if you had experienced a really awesome 33rd birthday party, and then somebody put pictures of that party in front of you, you'd remember those moments. Oh, yeah, I remember when that. Oh, yeah, and they put the cake in my face, and we did that dirty piñata with the penis. You can have fun, right? You can see these pictures and go back to that memory of that party and recollect it like it was yesterday. Well, that's what reading the tarot is. We're not looking into the future. We're recollecting the past, because we exist at the end of time. And the one truth allows us to know it. And when we know it, we can recognize that that whole beautiful unfolding was us, including the unicorns, including the magic. So we get to read the tarot with the knowledge of what we're actually doing here is that we're looking at nothing short of the totality of human experience unfolding in front of us. And it's really just our story being told back to us in our own voice, spoken in the language of color. Just wow. What bad is there in the world when you realize that truth? That you are the totality of all pleasure, of all happiness, of all fulfillment, of all joy, of all suffering, of all pain, of all torture. How beautiful of a myriad of experience is this, that we get to have all of it. Pain is pain. It's not bad, it just is. We call it bad. You wanted this so that you can feel it all. We're here to experience the absolute totality of probability unfolded. We're not here to miss an inch of it, an ounce of it, an iota. That's what temperance means. Temperance doesn't mean don't have. It means have every drop and then let go. Don't identify. And discern. Love that. So, I feel good. And you know, there's this whole opportunity now once you realize that you can actually experience your whole life that way. It's not just the tarot. You don't just have to interrogate the tarot with this technique. Look at your heart. Look at your mind. Look at your body. Look at your spirit. Look at the people around you. Taste the food, the drink, smell the air through that lens. But that's you that you're smelling. That's you you're tasting. It's not that there's God and then the creation. It's God as creation. You are God as creation. You are God as Missy, God as Michael, God as Kitten, God as Brianna, God as Jake, God as Satan. All looking at each other. This is God looking at himself. This is you looking at you. Here's looking at you, kid. I'll make the focaccia if you make the sauce. It's gonna be fucking banging. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait for us to cook together. I can't wait to make your husband nervous when I show up and he's like, is this guy gonna fucking hit on me? I'm not, trust me. I'm playing. I'm playing. Don't worry, dude. I'm straight as an arrow, I promise. I might fall in love with your wife. I'm probably gonna fall in love with her food. But yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be fun. We'll drum. We'll build a fire. We'll sing. We'll make magic. We'll make mirrors. We'll play with beads. We'll tell ghost stories. Mine are pretty intense. I got some ghost stories. Does anyone else live near you? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm kind of tucked away. I'm all the way. I think you're the closest to me in New Hampshire. Everyone else is like way out west and stuff, down south. Yeah. Although, you know, I'm going to be, there's some things changing and moving and stuff's happening, and so there's some stuff coming up. But, no, I'm just sort of tucked away in the Northeast right now, you know, just sort of hanging out in my little mountain sleepy town. I'm sure it's very similar to your little mountain sleepy town, just, you know, a couple states over. Right? Mm-hmm. Right. It's pie. 3.14. Is it officially pi when it's 3.14 in 15 seconds? I don't know why that just... I'm such a nerd, man. I love that. Okay. Yeah. I feel pretty good. You know, I know it was a weird night emotionally, but I don't know. I just feel really good. I feel like seeds have been planted and like good. You know, I don't know. I don't feel bad about any of this. I feel like good energy about this. But I'm gonna pull a card here, and this is what you need to hear. Adjustment. Yeah, right? Wow, you got some stuff going on too, Shushu? It has been a weird energy. You're not kidding. Thank you for that, Missy. We also had elections and stuff going on too, right, Shu? It's like it's been a lot of emotions flying, a lot of agendas, you know, a lot of wills being thrown around. That's caught by people who are sensitive. Like, we can't deny that we kind of are a little bit open to that affecting us, right? Truth, yeah. Several times that card came out. And if anyone else is throwing cards with me, you know, make sure that you let me know what comes up. But it is interesting that you know, those same cards seem to keep coming up over and over. You know, at times I hear Misty say that card's coming up a lot for me. Like, it's one of those things. It's weird. And consider the math here. The probabilities are kind of ridiculous if you looked into the mathematics of a 78 card deck. And the fact that, like, it comes up over and over is kind of like shouldn't happen. You know? By the way, Shushu, I checked out the third movement, K330. Was it 330 or 333? Either way, I love it. I love that. The energy of that song. I can see what you mean about, you know, kind of playing with the bowl at the same time. Cool. I'm curious what you get. And yeah, I wish I could just show you guys this artwork today. But really, I want to get the permission of the artist. Although she does sell some of the stuff. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So we have a lot of opportunities after we've woken up to have some experiences that we hadn't even considered, because, you know, it lets you recognize the power that we have to engage others in our growth, in their growth, to be open to manifesting in other people's lives, to be open to manifesting other people in ours. And when we do that, some very cool things happen. Relationships can develop that weren't possible otherwise. Connections can happen with a network of people with this like-minded thinking that can really almost create like a field that is detectable by the hearts of others, just through their the way that they act and react and speak, and their affect is palpable to the degree that those that are sensitive are going to want that. And that group energy is something that is very, very important when we're in a state that we're in right now as far as the human race, this place of like really seeking truth, to the degree that people will believe anything that's put in front of them. And so it is incumbent upon us as those who believe we can make an impact based on this truth to walk it, be it, and share that being. Now, the only way we can do that authentically is if we're walking that authentically, right? And so the way that we do that is that we speak our truth without reservation, without fear. And if we're afraid, we do it courageously while we're afraid. Because that's what we're here to do, is to not reflect the world, but to cast our truth. And let those who are ready to see it be attracted to that light and come toward it. I mean, if that's our reason, and we deny that, then we are doomed to live a life of unfulfillment and sort of an empty sadness of not being complete. But when we recognize that that's what we're actually here to do, then that gives us the power to change the world. Well, that's a beautiful statement. I love that, and I just want to tweak it a little bit. I have never actually been afraid, and so I will never be afraid. The body felt adrenaline, which got red as fear. Page of Wands, Queen of Swords, Sun, and Strength. Okay, here's Shushu's cards. Two courts and two majors, for real, right? Good shit. Now also, if you consider the Page of Wands as the sun and the Queen of Swords as strength, that's just a beautiful little thing. Let me just illustrate that here, what I'm getting at. Just to kind of put it into a certain perspective, right? So let's just... see how those land. We can look at it the other way, with respect to like the four cards of the Wand, Cup, Sword, and Pentacle of the lower world, right? But this idea of the Page of Wand being in the sun and the Queen of Sword being in strength. So let's. I'm going to read it that way first, okay, and then we'll go from there. And what we have here is sort of like these two personas. Actually, Missy, some shit came up in that reading I didn't want to talk about, so we need to talk. So the Page of Wand is the idea of wanting to manifest the will into the world through the sun. The Queen of Swords is the ability, the desire to make the heart known, to speak the heart through the Strength card. And so let's talk about that. We also see a progression here. The Page of Wand becoming the Queen of Swords and the Sun becoming Strength. This is kind of like the Sun in Leo. It's kind of like the what's it called? The Sphinx looking out into the sun, like looking at Leo rising. It's funny, Leo rising. That's Crowley. But so the Page of Wand becoming the Queen of Swords is the idea of making manifest the will turning into the heart being spoken. Right? So it's like hearing the will, speaking the heart. And then here you have hearing the sun and speaking courage, strength. Strength comes from courage. Right? I've told that story many times. I won't burden you with it again. You see, you have to fight, and then you're scared. No, but you get the idea of the strength and what this is referring to here. And so when we read it that way, it's interesting. Now let's read it crosswise. The Page of Wand manifested as strength prior to the sun is the idea of wanting to make manifest the will. And that being applied as kind of like a unencumbered. It's an unencumbered sensation. The sun is the card of illumination. So there is a warning that the sun shows us everything. Truth and lies. Right? Oh, and always be aware of that. Strength is a different story because it's too busy doing what it's doing to care whether it's a truth or a lie. It just is kind of navigating whatever it's in front of it to make it happen. And then it finds itself in a position where, due to that work being done properly, there's sort of a lack of question. It's sort of like just there's a calm that comes with that. There's a mutual respect that's formed between the lioness and the lady, because they're of course the same being. Right? The lioness and the lady on top are in the young state of I want this and right, hot, and then the mature version, which is cool, fair, speaks instead of feels, is heard. The Page of Wand is not heard. The Queen of Swords is by nature. It's her purpose. It's who she is. It's her identity. Her identity is being heard. Wand and wand, great, and it's just immature wand. The Page of Wand is really the idea of the root, the core desire to make it real. The Queen of Swords is in the sword state in the higher world. It's actually very appropriate in that state. The Queen takes on the qualities of the deacons. Like I said, let me just jump back to the thing here. Right? If we look here, we can see that there's various individuals related to each period of time with respect to the court cards. And the Queen of Swords rolls the period of time between basically Virgo into Libra. Right? The middle of September through the middle of October. And so this crosses over from spring into fall, basically. It's the beginning of fall. And if you consider symbolically the implications of that, it's much more calm than the wand, right? That youthful energy. This is more refined. They're very similar implements. They're the two masculine implements, the wand and the sword. One is more raw, natural, right? Wood, it grows on its own. The will is something, it's kind of there without your participation. The sword is willfully picked up and utilized, or it just sits there. So they're kind of opposites. One works without your knowledge / permission, and one requires it. Secondly is the will is communicated in a number of different ways. And one of those is through speech and through thoughts and through thought forms and through these types of things. And there's many other ways to communicate. But what this is referring to is that this idea of the communication being willfully emotional. It goes from will into cup, which is the queen. The queens are all cups. They're all the water signs. So this is the watery part of air, the Queen of Sword. Right? And now in the heart card, this is the upper world, is the sun. Divine masculine. The life force, the light of life. The light of life. I love the sunflowers, the baby on the horse, just everything about it. That's a unicorn, by the way, just the horn's invisible. And then there's strength, right? Lust, that came up before as the lust card. And that's in the pentacle. That's the thing that you have. The pentacle, which is that, the fourth card, is the card of what you have, what's at your disposal. The sun card is what you want. The second one is what you're actually saying. Forget about what you want. This is what you're saying. What the universe hears, right? What we want and what we speak very seldom are the same. It's weird how we, if we listen to ourselves after the fact, we think, wow, I could have worded that differently. I don't think I got my point across there right. Oftentimes that's the case. And when you're dealing with manifestation or desire, it's important that that's spoken properly. And then, the wand in the wand is just great. And it's this new wand energy. It's like the beginning of the whole cycle is that page of wand. That's kind of the first card of the tarot in a way. Right? Because the pages / princesses and the aces are the same card. All the other cards live inside of her. She births them all. I also like the fact that the sky in the strength card is yellow. I know there's something to that. Yellow is the color of divine mind. Let me catch up on the chat. Other than my future as a mommy, but yeah, he's praying. Maybe. He might be difficult to know, but I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of learning his language, which he may not even be 100% aware of. But that is okay. We're talking about Scorpio and 5 planets. Scorpios and 5 planets have no idea who they are. They don't. There's a lot of layers. And even if you break through 2-3, there's still the other 2 behind it. It's like there's so many layers. It's okay. You have to kind of give them a pass there a little bit. But once the layers start getting peeled is when you can say, okay, now let's do this work, man. Let's do it. Dude, I know that's... Can't beat him, join him. Don't. No. Can't do that, man. You're the one with power. Don't lead by example. Rule anyway. Right, I know. I know. Let's do this. I love this. Let's do some bibliomancy. I got this book today. You know, I'm always looking for, like, you know, hauls. Look at this one I found. This is a free book from a library, and like one of these free libraries that you see around towns. We have a bunch around my town, and I just grabbed these two. This one has nothing to do with my stream, but I'm just, whatever, I'm going to read it and then consume it. I cracked this, and I'm already pissed. I'm already pissed. Anyway, so, yeah, because, I mean, I live in that space. A lot of what I do a lot of work with addicts, prostitutes, homeless, spectrum, right? And so I'm very familiar with that space, and no kidding, this book is meant for me. Anyway, but I picked this one up. How big this is, right? That's a nice big thick chunk of a possibility with wisdom, right? This is like magic waiting to be read. And I'm going to open it randomly and spit some wisdom out. This is for everyone in the room, but particularly my Sissa from another Missa, the Maravista Shire, who needs to be reminded of who she is, so that she doesn't join their game. How dare you? That's almost like Jasmine playing, like, you know, the street rat. But don't forget, she's just playing a game. Like, why would you do that, right? Come on. You're gonna, like, step down from your throne and join the plebeians? All right, have fun for a minute, but don't forget who you are. Don't identify with it. Don't forget you're playing a game when you do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna crack it, and then we're gonna read the first thing, and just, here it goes. This is for me too. I'm paying attention. Oh my God, the size of this word. You wait till you see what I actually pulled to. Okay, so, first of all, let me see the name of the story. We're on page 440. It's called The Riverbank, from The Wind and the Willows by Kenneth Graham, illustrated by E.H. Shepard. The line I pointed to: "There's cold chicken inside it," replied the rat briefly. "Cold tongue, cold ham, cold beef, pickled herd, kin salad, French roll, crescent widget, spotted meat, ginger beer, lemon, and water soda." All right, so that was one big word. "Oh, stop, stop," cried the mole in ecstasies. "This is too much." "Do you really think so?" inquired the rat seriously. "It's only what I always take on these little excursions, and the other animals are always telling me that I am the mean beast, and I cut it very fine." The mole never heard a word he was saying. Absorbed in the little life he was entering upon, intoxicated with the sprinkle, the ripple, the scents, and the sounds in the sunlight, he trailed a paw into the water and dreamed long waking dreams. The water rat, like a good fellow he was, sculled steadily on and forbore to disturb him. That's interesting. I kind of went to a couple of different places there. Just a couple. I'm going to reread that because I bumped a couple words. I'm getting pretty tired. But I want to reread that. It's a short little passage, and I want to get the context right. But, yeah. One of the things I read in that, though, was... yeah, that you should be aware of that you're aware of your value. Let's read it again. Okay, I'm going to read a couple of lines beforehand to give context. And you'll know that we started at the divinatory. When I get to the words, there's cold chicken inside it. Okay, so I'm going to go a paragraph before so that we actually have context. Okay. Hold hard a minute, then, he said to the rat, or said the rat. See, man, I'm like really tired. Let me remember how to read words. I'm predicting instead of reading, so give me a moment. Hold hard a minute, then, said the rat. He looped the painter through the ring in his landing stage, climbed up into his hole above, and after a short interval reappeared, staggering under a fat wicker luncheon basket. Shove that under your feet, he observed to the mole as he passed it down into the boat. Then he untied the painter and took the skulls again. What's inside? Asked the mole, wriggling with curiosity. There's cold chicken inside it, replied the rat. Cold tongue, cold ham, cold beef pickled, herring, salad, French roll, crescent, and widget spotted meat, ginger beer, lemon, soda water. Oh, stop, cried the mole in ecstasies. This is too much. Did you really think so? Inquired the rat seriously. It's only what I always take on these little excursions, and the other animals are always telling me I'm a mean beast, and I cut it very fine. The mole never heard a word he was saying, absorbed in the new life he was entering upon, intoxicated with the sparkle, the ripple, the scents and the sounds and the sunlight. He trailed a paw into the water and dreamed long, waking dreams. The water rat, like a good fellow he was, scullied steadily on and forbore to disturb him. You do you, and if it's too intense for them, that's their problem. This is what I bring on my excursions. What, it's too much for you? I don't know, that's where I went. But also recognize if it is too intense, just close your box, keep it to yourself, and just go along with them. And, you've got it when you're ready to experience it on your own until you are ready to share it with other people that are open to it. And don't have the expectation of the other having, the same capacity to receive that you do. And be okay with that. Everybody's different on what they take in and how, and that's okay. There is no such thing as superiority. We're all equal. I feel like I went back on something I believe in pretty hard, and it's like not bragging about your virtuousness. Yeah, well, you don't have to brag about virtuousness. No, of course not. That's a good idea not to, because then it's not virtuousness. It becomes a lie. Although, there's no shame in recognizing it yourself, that you are putting forth an effort. Like, I understand what you mean, because I'm that same person. I am a Ten of Wand. I get it. But it's okay to also sort of do you a little bit, and also to recognize that this should be a little bit of a give and take and not just give. And it's also okay to feel proud when you do good work. I mean, you brag all the time to me, and you have a right to with your pictures. Like, look at this pretty thing I made, and you know what? It is pretty. And you have a right to share that because you're sharing beauty. And so why not? And keep doing that. Please send me pictures. I love that shit. I love it. I mean, it's like inspiring. And so you're allowed to be proud in the same way of the other things that you do, right? You're allowed to let that in. And what happens when you do that is it kind of becomes infectious, because people see, wow, not only is she powerful, but she's like confident in it. She's owning it. It's not like a fake confidence. It's real, because you are powerful. You don't have to pretend. Like, you're not fooling me. I know who you are. So, all right. Yeah. That is so interesting. As one deck of them all combined, or various versions? That's kind of amazing. I had a weird idea of like a mashup of Duquette and Ryder or Smith. Cool. Okay. But that's a great idea. Did you email it or did you text it? Oh, okay. May I show that? By the way, that's a beautiful malachite. That is a beautiful malachite. I'm a big fan of malachite. Oh my God, Missy, no problem. Anytime. Yeah, may I show it? I don't see why you would have a problem with me showing it, but beautiful. Let me turn rotation back on. I shut it off last night for a specific reason. But first of all, let's just enjoy the beauty that is this malachite. Well, that's a nice chunk. I have a small. This is it. This is the only malachite I own right now. Right now, that's going to eventually change. That's it. This tiny little. That's a nice chunk. I bet you it's heavy. It's got good weight, right? That one's got good weight. But look what he did. That's a lust card behind here, and that's the sun card behind here, right? Those are the ones that I had up there on the screen, but he has the Thoth as those two majors. So the two majors are the Thoth, and the two quartz in the front are the Pamela Coleman Smith. Great idea. That's a really good idea. Looks like you've also got some sacred geometry going on behind there. Looks like a mandala of some type. And, you know, it looks like potentially, yeah, some really cool stuff going on behind there on that cloth. But, looks like I've got another picture he sent. Oh, I love that. Yeah, okay, yeah. As a reading style, I love that. I think that's great. You know, a lot of people combine Oracle with Tarot, but to combine those two Tarot, because they're pointing at the same story, but from a completely different dialect. And so how beautiful is that as a way to correlate and to connect and to hear it spoken a few different ways for your intuition to really have a good anchor to attach to, right? That's a great technique. I'm going to use that. In fact, I have a mini Pamela Coleman Smith that I can easily use, even with my standard Thoth, and let alone the large Thoth. So that it almost begs for that to happen. And you know I like reading with two decks, so it's like, sure. Just this application of it, I think, is kind of great, because it's just like higher, lower world, like layered. Well, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that going on. A lot of sharing stuff and stuff, just like, you know. Totally. Actually, I had a great idea, guys. Actually, and I'm going to speak it now because there's a few people in the room that are relevant to that. And so this is for Kitten, Missy, Shushu, and Brianna. If you're in the room or watch this later, you're involved in this. Who else? Gabrielle. If you see this later, this is for you. Who else am I missing? Vesta for sure. Dana. Okay, which I haven't been in here in a while, but you were definitely in. Here's the point. Here it is. Okay. All right. I did my image. It's a lantern that happened accidentally out of ashes. Okay. I'm sending this book to Missy. Missy, you're going to draw on this page. It's yours. 100%. Don't touch anything else. But these are yours. I don't care what you do. Write words, draw a picture. Glue shit. Stick stuff. Lick it. Kiss it with lipstick. I don't care. Do something. And then you're going to mail it to Shushu, who's going to mail it to Kitten, who's going to mail it to, right? And now, eventually, it's going to be full, and it's going to come back to me. And then it's going to be published, and we're all going to get a copy. Who's in? That book's going to be ridiculous when it's done. Ridiculous. Big Thoth Centennial Smith. Okay. Yep. Right? Isn't it? I mean, you need a community that's in that shit. But if you are, that book is gold. Gold. And then when you show the world, here's what a big batch of smart people that are connected can do. Right? Awesome. Wendy's invited too, by the way. Obviously, Wendy's invited. I'm sorry I didn't speak your name, Wendy. Wendy, you are totally invited. Like, you have to be. You can even draw a little diagram of your system of reading if that's what you want to do. Like, it's up to you what you do in that book. I don't care what you put on that page, just as long as it's you. 2 pages. You get, open it and that's your spread. You get 2 pages. Holy crap, I'm so jealous. That's Missy's crystal drawer. Well, one of them, I bet. I'm sure you got more than that. Look at that. Unreal. Look at that. Is that a malachite? It gotta be. Look at that green. There's a couple of them there yet. You got an azurite. Oh, you got more malachite. What's that? Is that so? What is that? What are those? Cool. Oh, look at that. Are those citrines? What are those gold? Are those citrines or what are those? I know, shiny. Hey, Shushu. Shiny. Pretty colors. I know, right? Same here, man. Same here. Just, oof. So, oh, look at that. Yeah, what a beautiful myriad of color and just this. That white sphere-looking thing with the black on it. What is that? I don't know exactly what it says on the top. Let me get that right, because that's hysterical. I mean, the words I can definitely read is "fuck this shit" and she lived happily ever after. Missy. With the angels, I freaking love that. You got an amethyst and a rose quartz going on. Is that a clear quartz in the front? Looks like maybe some malachite hanging off there. No, not malachite. Labradorite maybe? I can't tell. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Handsome. Smile. The light on the head is too much. Are you kidding? Come on, look at the light on his head. Over his left eye. Are those Smarties? Of course they are. Oh, the 8-ball with the star anise is so great. What are those? Wow, beautiful. Yeah. So you got a lot of high energy going on there. Oh, look at this beautiful thing. That is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, look at that sphere. Is that ruby? That's got to be a ruby. No, is that a ruby or a garnet? That is gorgeous. The color is like smack. Next to that citrine. I'm a fan of citrine too. Amethyst and citrine are the same stone. Just formed under different heat, but that sphere is gorgeous. This is pretty. What is that? That is just has kind of a mixed natural and man-made kind of vibe to it. Okay, it is citrine? Yeah, okay. The key to your heart kind of thing. That's neat. Yeah, this is a pretty little space. The roses are great. Yeah. Good stuff. Is that a spinny ring? Looks like a spinny ring. Pretty though. Yeah. Wow. Gorgeous. So, and there's all kinds of expressions of this, right? And, I'm kind of evolving my space here too, and it's eventually going to be very different. But, yeah. Not exactly sure how it's going to land. This is going to be incorporated into the space. This is, it's a hard glass, and it's actually an oil lamp, and I plan on actually using it as an oil lamp instead of candle for certain types of work. But fluorite is a big deal for me. Somebody made the mistake of telling me you can't use fluorite for jewelry, and I went, watch me. And I did. So I made a big purchase. There's two types of fluorite, and the one that I wound up using was Chinese fluorite, which has a very, very beautiful type of banding. It's 3-color. And there was a certain period of time that you couldn't get certain stones out of the country for obvious reasons. There was issues with it. But long story short, though, anything that came out during that period that you were fortunate enough to get was some of the highest quality color that you can find in fluorite. And I wound up making cabochons out of it in pendants, and they sold very well. They had a very good energy. The color was great. Did he really? Yeah. That is, that's one of those things that I speak about where, there's no healing, Yeah, I love the purple. And that light there, though, that was something. I know I've seen that picture before, and there's an energy about him that really I just felt like I don't know if they smile. I have an Uncle John too. My Uncle John is my mom's brother. He's not that much older than me. My grandmother had children late in life. Well, early and late. Let's just put it that way. There's a huge spread between my mother and the baby and the oldest. A huge spread. But my Uncle John is, I think, 10 years older than me. Something like that. 15 years. And we look a lot alike. I'm better looking, but he's taller. But that said, though, yeah. So my Uncle John and I are very similar. But yeah. I'm so sorry. I know. The ring. When you told him. Wow. That's very cool. See, I love that. Things that kind of change based on perspective. That's cool. That's awesome. I'm actually getting kind of pooped, and it's weird, like in a strange way. I kind of feel good, but I'm getting a little bit confused. And so what I'm going to do is just take a quick break. And be back in a couple minutes, and then we'll just continue. I'm really feeling really good about cards tonight, and I sort of covered everything I wanted to talk about. And so I'm just gonna go with the flow and keep it open. But I just need a couple minutes, just freshen that up. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna skip that. It's 4:00, so I'm just gonna let me kill this. I'm not drinking any more coffee for now. But I am gonna take a break, and I'm gonna be back in a couple minutes, and we'll go from there. And if anyone has anything in particular that you want to read about or look into, let me know, and I'll be right back. Okay? Awesome. Alrighty. So the goal of my channel has always been and will always be singular, which is the dissemination and the conversation around the truth. The truth does not have a polarity. The truth does not have an expectation. The truth does not have an agenda. It is. And it is our jobs to allow it, to get out of its way, to hear it, to be it. And so you are in your rightness, and you ruined nothing. You gave the evening what it needed, which was a big fat dose of truth at a really cool time. So just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being like crazy honest and like vulnerable and open to this whole thing. So go grab a deck. I'm going to shuffle. What I'm going to use right now, I'm feeling the black and white, the newer one, the black and white. It's a rider deck. I did Thoth tonight, and I did the Surrealist, and so I'm going to move on to that, to the rider. And you can grab what you want to grab and just do a quick shuffle. And I'm just going to throw some cards, man. I don't even really have a goal. Somebody needs to hear some stuff, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hear some stuff. So let's do it. All I'm looking for is the truth. All right, so pull one card, and let me know what it is. I'm going to do the same. And what we're going to do here is you are the higher world, and your card is going to be what, because don't forget, when we're looking at this pentagram, this pentacle, with respect to the different ideas here of the parts of our vocabulary, the voices that we use, right? We use the heart, we use the mind. When we are speaking the spirit, that's everybody. We are all connected in that place, and so that's for everyone. So your card is that spot. And so that card was Two of Pentacles, change, evolution, the juggler, right? And what that is different things being made manifest, and kind of they're up in the air, and so you get to decide which one you actually hold. But right now it's sort of like in the air, and you can't readily tell which one's about to land. You can kind of infer that, but not really. So you don't really know which one's up in the air. It's a static image of something. One's going up and one's coming down. But the real symbol here is that, right? Shushu gets the Four of Cups. Beautiful. That's what's happening in this room right now, by the way. The Ten of Cups we talked about, but the Four of Cups is a biggie. I mean, imagine those two things like higher or lower. the Two of Cups, the Pentacles being made manifest as these, you know, it's actually a really, really beautiful thing. Now, the image itself is this idea of distraction, but it's more than distraction, because the lesson in the card is the fact that there is a cup that is truth if we only drink from it. So it's really a card of opportunity, because it's the recognition that the only thing that needs to change in that Four of Cups for that person to be in a good place is just to do this. Right? That's all they got to do. Turn their head. So it's not some big working. It's going, oh, there's the truth. Oh, there it is. I've been staring over there this whole time, and it's right over there. It's been right there all this time. So it's a good opportunity card, right? And so the Two of Pentacles is this up in the airness because you're staring at these three cups and you're missing the one that's right here. Hey, I'm here. Here's your, like, oh. And so that's the Four, right? And now the Ten of Cups, we talked about. That's everything's full, everything's great. You're moving into the sword fair, you know, it's just good stuff. So good energy, okay? Now let's look at how that manifests here. How beautiful is this? This is so beautiful. And that, you know what's beautiful about this too? Here's four people, and here's the product of that. Just gorgeous, right? It's like the unification. It's a beautiful image, and obviously it means so much more than that. And I'm going to drop my card. It means so much more than that. But you know, really, just consider what it does mean. You know, this person is fully, completely aware of that connection here, right? Like that possibility. That's what's actually happening. This is who we all really are, actually. And it's not that we're all dancers. We're all this one person. Just seeing the world from different perspectives. And that's ultimately the truth. We are each those cups. You say no to the world. Why do you say no? It's the beginning. It's the end. It's the completion. It's the unification. It's the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. But you get the idea. I see that as such a positive thing. Come on. What is everybody's thoughts? What do you think, Kitten? Shushu? Right? Like, imagine that card coming out. Look at this beautiful spread. Two of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Ten of Cups, and then we land on the world. It's just great. Like, when it comes to group stuff where you have multiple people casting a card and then that comes up, that's just, I mean, you can't deny the beauty of how that came together. That's really special, right? And so it's, no, I appreciate you guys participating in that. That was cool. That came out great. That came out great. But you know what? Are you really surprised anymore? Like, the way that stuff works here? It's so cool. Because, you know, the fact is that what we're talking about, regardless of what you think you are, this is like a whole, like a pack of witches, right? This is like a coven. This is like a magical family that's just like shares energy, and we all have a completely different, unique perspective that we're bringing to this. And so when we get together, that product is just truth every time. Like, we can't fail when we combine. It just works. It just works. So we're a great little engine for truth here. I really, it's great. It really is. It really is. And I feel so insanely filled up and fortunate that I get to participate in this. Like, how cool. Like, and get just YouTube, like, what a platform. The people here who just went seeking. It's just awesome how it all came together, and it is a special place, and it's yours. This belongs to you. This isn't mine or YouTube's or any. It's like you can't take ownership of this. It's not mine. It's not anybody's. It's all of ours, and it is special. And why? Why is it special? We make it special. We choose what we speak, we choose what we hear, and we choose what we give meaning to. And we choose that meaning. And so when you see that this is a special room, that's because you're making it special. It's just a flower until we view it, and then it becomes beauty. It's just a tortured soul crying out to the world to hear his truth until you hear it, and then it becomes your truth. Then it becomes real. And so you made that happen. You created truth tonight by your vulnerability and your openness and your willingness to share it and your willingness to not stop and to continue to speak and to allow that discourse. It's so awesome. And what you did is you watched as other people, at least the ones you could see chatting, participate in that process. You know, for the time being, you built a family that's real. I felt stuff. You know? No, I did not. You know what I did? I put myself out there and I asked for people to join. So I will say that. I did that. And so I will take credit for that part. But, you know, this is a tango, love. And there's no dance without you joining and being open to it. And same thing with Kitten and Brianna and Shushu and Wendy and Gabrielle and Vesta. And I'm sorry if I forgot your names. Yanis, Dana, Dude, who hasn't been in here in a while, Luana, who hasn't been in a while, but you get the idea. So, and actually, you know what, you did that, like, that's the funny thing, I manifested you all, I did, I made this happen, I did, I mean, willfully said, I made Magick, and then I started my channel, like, this was not a joke, I ritually, ceremonially made this happen. But also, you manifested me. Like, don't forget that. Like, you did. Like, that's not a psychological thing, right? That's not me speaking some new age woo. Like, you manifested me. You brought me into your life. So you did that. Like, you did that. And so, you know, own it. It's own it. And I did not manifest you in my life for a pretty bell, although I can't wait for my pretty bell. At the end of the day, I manifested you so that I can grow through you. You see, because don't you realize, I'm on the edge too, and I want someone's hand to hold when I jump also. And guess what's going to happen when we jump? We're going to fall up. I promise, don't be afraid. Close your eyes and run. Do it. Fall in love with yourself. Okay, it was the bell. Yeah. You know what though? Every time. Every time. It's the only way. It's the only way. You know, you can walk into the tower, or you can just jump off the cliff on the first card and forget all that. Forget all the drama between the magician and the tower card. Just, you know, just jump off the cliff at the first card at 0. Stay at 0. That's truth. Stay at 0. And recognize that all those other cards are just perspectives of that 0. Remember when I took the 3 women and stuck them in a triangle, and it's really just one card from 3 different spots, right? That's the 22 of them is really just that one in the middle from a different perspective, holographically represented as this changing thing in the center. That's really just a 0. I was feeling frustrated swiping through all the Chinese pick-a-card channels and then popped, right? That's great, man. And I'm glad you did, because, you know, really you opened me up to some stuff too. Like I stalk your art, like I stalk your photography, and I'm a big fan of you, man. Really, I don't think you realize. But yeah, it's funny how this all came together, man. And it's you know how I decided to do it, like with the big phone numbers and all this whatnot. Like I just said, I'm just putting it out there, man. Whatever. So that worked out. Yeah, it's funny how it all comes together. You know, I still get comments, and I still get some people even. I've got a phone call recently from somebody about a video I did like 2.5 months ago when I was still doing like pet readings and stuff, that they saw something that connected, and they asked me a question. Can you clarify this card? I was like, shit, how cool is that? That's what this is all about. It's really something. Yeah, just and actually on such a deep level too. This I don't mean to just like stroke you all night, shoo, but you're impressive. Your mind is special, and I'm so grateful for you. Because I don't know, you have one of these talents of taking what I speak, which is kind of a little wordy, and just totally consumable. Just a child could you know. It's so beautiful. And you know what? I'm about to redecorate in a big way, and like I'm not 100% sure how I want to do it, but I'm gonna kind of switch up some of this, and you know, it's gonna be cool, and it's gonna evolve, and so it's gonna be interesting how it all comes together. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to put it all together and let it grow organically. I mean, I'm going to apply principles like, you know, golden ratio and, you know, composition, color, harmonies, and things like that. The music. I'm going to, you know, which I want to talk to you about, Missy. I'm going to talk to you about some chill trap and some, you know, deep house. I mean, there's a lot of things that belong here as far as musically. And Shushu, I would love your opinion on that as well. You've mentioned a couple of pieces which are cool, and I just have to, again, kind of work out what performances I can find. There's some good stuff on archive.org of some performances that are public domain that I've considered. So, you know, we'll work that out. Why, you're trying to say that you don't have real talent? I could stop it. Now you're just fishing for compliments. You and I both know that you're a pretty powerful, creative, you know, person, and it's you create beauty. You do. So just stop. Come on now. Don't undermine your beauty. Really. You're not fooling me, and it's just silly. But yeah. All right, so I'm gonna head out. I'm like dying. So. Yeah. Okay, I have a crazy couple of days coming up that's going to be sort of stacked, right? And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream. I will if I can. Otherwise, it may be a day or so just to kind of, I have to bunch, like a lot going on. But I'll be in a nice spot, calm, that I'll be able to, kind of jump back in and move forward in a couple days, okay? So, but in the meantime, if anybody needs anything, and I mean literally anything, call me, right? That's why I'm here. I had somebody call me today, just out of the blue. They just, had a need, and I called them back, and we did what we had to do, and it was a great conversation, and I felt really great leaving that. I cried my eyes out. So did they, and it was great. And we left that situation feeling really good, and that's what it's all about, just like. So if you need anything, please, really, I will find a time to call you at some point, and we'll talk about it. Okay. I know, I'm busting chops. But I do. I feel like the need sometimes to remind you, but I know I'm just busting chops. But so anything, really, email, call me, text me, and we'll work it out. And Missy, as far as you and Jake, Wednesday is probably the best to start as far as a date where we can sit down and really get into the core of shit. And I'm not kidding. If he's open to talking, I know there's stuff going on there that I feel like I can talk to. And then him and I can find a middle and we can speak about, right? 4:44, yeah, I was available then. Yeah, actually, that would have been a decent time to call. And today, that would have been decent. But you said that 3 times. I almost called you. What? It's just easy. That little button on top of the chat window that looks like a phone. Just I answer the phone. I do. And if I can, I'll call you right back. Really, it's just call. It's okay. I love you. How cool, I got through 3 hours and 15 minutes and my stream didn't drop. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't leave the screen too much, and so it didn't skip. Yeah, so, yeah. But really, thank you for everybody who hung out with me tonight. And it was an off stream in a good way. And I kind of I came in here knowing that it's going to be a heavy couple days, and so I just wanted to take it easy anyway, and I thought, let's just talk about falling in love and unicorns. And we wound up doing tarot all night, which is awesome, so I love that, right? Really. Okay, cool. So, I love you all, really, truly. And give Wendy a big hug and a kiss. Okay? Kitten, we'll talk soon. And I love you. You're the best. Thank you for everything. Everything, 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 everything. You are everything. Missy, come on. This is for you, Missy. Okay. There, I squeezed you till you popped. I feel better. Give that cat a scratch on the head and tell him to stay cool, man. Otherwise, and tell him thank you for participating in my stream, but if he wants to type on the keyboard, let him do it in the comments, please, because that's what matters. It's comments, they don't care about likes. A like is easy. Comments. So have your cat. I'll see you guys in a couple days. I love you. Love is in the air. Good night, guys. I love you so much.